Hi everybody, I am back with my 10th read so far for this year. It was Mad Honey. It is part of the GMA book club. This book was co-authored by Jodi Picoult as well as Jennifer Finney Boylan. Jodi Picoult is a very well-known author. I've never read any of her work though, so this was kind of a good way to start to experience the way that she writes and things like that, but with an additional co-author. So maybe I might pick up more Jodi Picoult in the future. I'm not sure, but I did really enjoy this book. This book, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I loved this book. It did take me a little while to get into it, but really I enjoyed the way it was written. It had amazing twists and turns, and for that reason, this book review is actually going to be a little bit difficult to do because I don't want to give away any spoilers because of the way that there are so many different turnarounds and twists and the way that the book ends. It's done in a way where you don't really see some of the plot points happening. It's kind of a whodunit, so to speak, and it's just very well written. So I really can't talk about the book in that much detail because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, because one of the best parts about this book is how you don't see certain things coming. Now, there's a couple of trigger warnings that I do want to talk about. Again, I am somebody who does not read the back of the book, the synopsis. I try to really not have any idea what I'm getting into. I know that that's weird. Some people can't imagine picking up a book and having no idea what it's about. But for me, it works. I like it. It kind of helps me maintain my expectations. That being said, if you are someone who does read the back of the book, these topics are not mentioned or discussed, so to speak. So trigger warning for suicide as well as domestic violence. Those are two topics that are discussed heavily in this book. There is a third topic that is also discussed that's sort of culturally significant, so to speak. But if I tell you about it, I'm going to really ruin one of the big surprises or one of the big twists in the book. So I'll just kind of put that out there. So if you're kind of sensitive to suicide or domestic violence, might not be the read for you, but still it was a great book. Might be worth trying. That's for you to decide. Anyway, I love this book. I love honey. I am obsessed with honey. You can ask any of my friends or family about that. So I liked this book because it actually had a lot of really cool bee facts that I wasn't aware of. The one main character, the mother, is a beekeeper and she sells honey. So she kind of shares a lot of really cool bee facts and things like that. So I thought that in and of itself was kind of interesting. The timeline is also very cool. Okay, so the mom's point of view for the book is written sequentially pretty much, but she does have flashbacks to previous things that happened in her life. The second character, Lily, her timeline is written sort of backwards. So you start with her and then it goes 2 weeks before that, 2 weeks before that, 4 weeks before the big thing that happens, and so on and so forth. So that is kind of interesting, I felt like, because you had one character moving in this direction and the other character moving in the opposite direction, and both kind of tie together in a really unique way that I enjoyed. So that was kind of a very cool way to write from two different perspectives, I felt. Never really seen that before. Also, there's recipes at the back of the book, because at one point the mom, to kind of distract herself, starts to write different recipes that she knows from growing up and things like that, and you get those recipes at the back of the book. So I might actually try some of those because, again, I love honey and they're honey adjacent or honey related recipes. But yeah, anyway, great book. Again, I can't really go into too much detail on what exactly happens because by doing that I would kind of spoil some of the big twists and turns, and I really don't want to do that because the way that this book was written, you really just didn't see a lot of that coming, and that's so kind of rare, I feel like, especially as someone who reads a decent amount. A lot of big plot twists and turns, you can kind of see them coming from a mile away. This book was not one of those books. It really truly was a surprise as you kind of went through it. So it was a 10 out of 10, very, very good. 5 out of 5, definitely recommend it. Okay, so our next book up, number 11, it is Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. It's another GMA book club, which I didn't really realize I was picking up that trend, but I think this might be the third or fourth so far for this year. So I'm excited to try that. That one is a lot smaller, which is nice. I think the page count for Mad Honey was just over 400, so it was a little bit thicker. Took me a little bit longer to get through, but definitely very good. And like I said, it started off a little bit slow in the way that I wasn't really kind of reading it as fast as possible, but it definitely picked up and got a lot more interesting, and you got much more invested in both of the characters. So anyway, yeah, 5 out of 5 for Mad Honey. If you've read it or if you're interested in it, let me know your thoughts and feelings, or if you've read Pineapple Street, please let me know how you felt about that. Okay, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be checking in with you next Monday.